Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Mr. Fluent English.
The place where we help you improve your English and your life.
I'm your host, Paul.
So today, we're really getting into something I think almost everyone learning a language hits, right? That internal translation machine.
Oh, yeah, that pause.
Exactly.
Wow.
That friction where you hear English, you quickly flip it to your own language, figure out your answer.
To translate that back into English before you even open your mouth, it's exhausting.
It slows everything down, kills the flow, prevents that real, fluency.
And that internal lag, that constant back and forth, that's really the enemy of thinking automatically in the language. And they lay out this really interesting structured approach. It's like a 4-step blueprint.
A blueprint, okay.
Yeah, a cognitive circuit, almost. It's designed to help you basically bypass that translation step completely.
Okay, I like bypass. The goal then is?
Simple, really. Stop just knowing English rules and actually start thinking in English, building completely new mental pathways, faster ones.
Building new brain circuits. Okay, let's map this out then. What's the route? What are these 4 steps?
Right, so it starts with getting the sound in, and it ends with automatic output. The sequence they lay out is, first, perception,
Okay.
just hearing it.
Yeah.
Second, comprehension, actually connecting that sound to an idea,
Yeah.
but in English.
Directly. No detour.
Exactly. Third, decision-making. This is about choosing the right social response, using English norms.
Ah, the cultural bit.
And finally, step 4 is language formulation. Actually building the English sentence automatically.
Perception, comprehension, decision-making, language formulation. Got it. Okay, let's unpack step 1 then. Perception. Hearing and receiving. Now, my first thought is, if you're already, say, intermediate, isn't just listening passively a bit basic? Shouldn't you be hitting complex vocab lists?
Yeah, that's the common question, the skepticism, but the sources are really clear on this. Perception is critical for building that dedicated neural infrastructure.
Infrastructure.
Think about the baby analogy as the classic example, right?
Right. Surrounded by language.
Totally overwhelmed, hearing mom, dad, siblings, the TV, everything. The baby isn't consciously understanding much at first, but that sheer volume of sound, it's laying down a baseline.
And what's that baseline look like in, an adult learner's brain?
It creates these special pathways just for English. Think about it. You already have super efficient pathways for your native language, maybe Haitian or Italian, whatever it is.
Right, instant reaction.
Exactly. But if you try to push English through those same native paths, you have to translate. It doesn't fit. To get speed, you need separate, dedicated English routes.
So more input makes wider roads, basically.
That's a good way to put it. It's not necessarily about understanding every single word at this stage. It's physically prepping the brain to receive English sounds.
Okay. I'm starting to see.
And there's a second crucial reason. You start learning the English rhythm, the music of it.
The pace.
Yeah, the pacing, the stress, where the pauses usually fall, your brain starts to expect these patterns. And that expectation, it shaves off that little annoying millisecond pause where the translation usually kicks in.
That's why background listening is pushed so hard, even if you're doing dishes or something.
Exactly. Even when you're not actively studying.
Didn't you mention doing this with Korean yourself, even before you were really studying it?
Yeah. When I was way back at level 1, couldn't make sense of much grammar at all. But I'd just have the news on, or like cooking shows in Korean playing in the background.
While doing other stuff.
Yeah, walking the dog, cleaning, whatever. Just forcing the perception, creating that expectation of the sounds. It felt a bit weird at first, honestly, but wow, it paid off later when I actually started structured learning.
Okay, so for someone listening now, an adult learner, how do we actually do this? How do we get that overwhelming input strategically?
Right. So first, background listening. It's pretty much non-negotiable according to these sources. Podcasts, videos, music, while you drive, cook, work out.
Just have it on?
Just have it on. Second, they strongly recommend speed training.
Speed training, you mean listening faster? Like 1.25x speed?
Yeah, or even 1.5x sometimes.
But why? Doesn't that just make it harder to catch anything?
Well, yes, initially it does feel harder, but it acts like resistance training for your ear. It forces your brain to process faster and learn to predict what's coming instead of trying to decode every single sound slowly.
Like weightlifting for your ears. Okay, that makes a strange kind of sense. What else?
While you're listening, try accent practice. Not necessarily to change your own accent permanently, unless you want to, but just copy different English accents.
American, British, Australian.
Exactly. Focus on their rhythm, their stress. It trains your ear and your mouth, reinforcing those sound pathways.
And get specific.
Yeah, pay attention to subtle sounds. Practice telling the difference between tricky pairs like ship and sheep or leave and live. Those tiny differences matter for perception.
And the easy stuff, the environment.
Absolutely. Immersion setup. Change your phone, your computer, your social media feeds. Make English the default language everywhere.
So your brain just sees it as normal.
Treats it as normal info. And finally, don't shy away from overloading the system a bit.
How do you mean?
Listen to music while maybe watching an English video with subtitles.
Yeah.
Or have a podcast on while scrolling through English news. You're kind of mimicking that constant buzz of a native environment.
Right, where sound comes from everywhere. Okay, fascinating. Step 1, perception. Get the sound locked in those dedicated pathways. Now, logically, step 2, comprehension. This is where we tackle translation head-on, right? Connecting the English sound directly to the idea, not the word in our first language.
Exactly. You have to break that automatic English to native language link. Think back to the baby again.
Okay.
The baby hears water. What happens? They connect that sound directly to seeing that clear liquid in a cup, not to the word agua or o or whatever.
So we need to do the same. Connect water to
What?
an English definition.
Yes. Or an image. Water connects to the clear liquid you drink, or a picture of a glass, or the feeling of thirst, all within the English system.
What's the big win here? Why is this internal connection system so crucial?
2 main things. First, obvious one. It stops the translation habit because the idea lives entirely within English. Second, and maybe more importantly, it helps you grasp English-specific meanings.
Like idioms or concepts that just don't translate neatly.
Exactly. Phrasal verbs, cultural nuances,
Yeah.
things that get mangled or lose all meaning if you try to force them through a translation bridge.
You mentioned your Korean experience again here, right? About understanding something but not being able to translate it easily.
Yeah, definitely. There was this complex phrase. When I heard it in Korean, I instantly got the concept, the feeling. But if someone asked me, okay, how would you say that naturally in English? I'd actually pause.
Why? You understood it.
Because I had a strong Korean sound-to-concept pathway. But the Korean to English translation pathway, that was weaker, less direct. For thinking, we want English sound straight to concept. No translation detours needed.
Right. Avoiding that mental back and forth, that is faster thinking. So, okay, how do we actually build this direct comprehension? What are the practical steps?
It really starts with how you learn vocabulary. Learn new words using only English definitions and images or concepts tied to them.
No translating allowed.
No translating, ever.
Right.
And that means you absolutely must use English dictionaries only.
That sounds tough, especially for abstract words.
It is tough at first.
Yeah.
Which is why the sources really emphasize contextual guessing. When you're reading an article or a blog post, fight that urge to look up every single unknown word immediately.
Try to figure it out first.
Yeah. Guess the meaning from the words around it. Force your brain to work within the English system to make sense of it, instead of hitting the escape button to your native language.
That makes sense. It's active engagement, not just passive lookup.
Exactly. And make sure you're doing diverse reading. Don't just read stuff in one field. Read science, history, business news, cultural articles.
Build a wider base.
Build a much richer vocabulary database in your head.
Yeah.
So when you see a word like, say, arbitration, you connect it to the whole concept of dispute resolution in English, not just one static word in your mother tongue.
Got it. And is there like an easy daily habit we can start?
The simplest. Daily internal monologue. Just talk to yourself in English.
In your head?
Yep. Describe your day, how you're feeling, what you're thinking about, all purely in English. It might feel clunky or slow at first, but it forces your brain to process your own internal world in English.
Okay. So we've got perception building the pathways, comprehension connecting meaning directly in English. Now, step 3, decision making. This sounds, well, it sounds like the most psychological step. Using English social rules, setting aside our own culture's patterns.
It really is deeply psychological and cultural. You have to start observing and absorbing how English speakers typically interact. For example, American communication styles can be quite direct compared to, say, many Asian or even some European cultures.
So it's about how you express disagreement or give feedback.
Exactly. Without sounding rude or maybe too passive, just because you translated a perfectly normal phrase from your language literally. It's about choosing the right approach within the English context.
So the why here isn't really about grammar rules. It's about sounding like you belong in the conversation, not like an outsider applying formulas.
You learn to pick the right communication style, when to be formal, when casual, when direct. English formality is often more context-driven than based on strict hierarchy rules found in some other languages.
Okay, but the sources mentioned developing an English personality. That sounds, I don't know, a bit fake. Aren't we supposed to be authentic?
Yeah, I see why it sounds like that.
Yeah.
But think of it as a temporary tool like scaffolding. It's not about becoming a different person forever.
A tool for what?
For many learners, their native language identity is tied up with certain habits, maybe anxieties about speaking or ingrained politeness rules. Creating an English persona, maybe emulating social behaviors or humor you've observed, gives you mental permission to try things that feel awkward or unnatural at first in English.
Like a safe space to experiment.
Exactly. It's a scaffold, the sources are clear. As your confidence grows and those English pathways get stronger, your real personality, your authentic self, naturally comes through in English. The persona just helps you get there.
Okay, framed like that, it's much less intimidating. So how do we exercise this decision-making muscle then?
You really have to put yourself in those situations, even if they're simulated. Role play is key.
Like practicing a job interview.
Exactly. Or introducing yourself at a networking event, handling a complaint in a shop. Do it all in English, focusing specifically on the tone, the approach, the social dance.
Building those quick responses for stressful moments.
And self-recording helps massively here. Record yourself playing out these imaginary scenarios, meeting new people, disagreeing politely. It creates a stored pathway, so when the real thing happens, your brain can grab it quickly.
Makes sense. What else?
Another powerful technique is argumentation. Seriously, pick a complex topic, maybe something controversial, and argue both sides of it out loud in English.
Both sides. Why?
It forces your brain to develop English ways of reasoning, structuring arguments, providing evidence patterns that might be different from your native language.
Right, like how in English debates, people often restate the other person's point first before disagreeing. That's a cultural pattern of decision-making.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're engaging in active observation and then mimicking those structures. How do native speakers handle conflict? How do they give feedback gently? You study those decision patterns and copy them.
Okay, which leads us neatly into the final step. Step 4, language formulation. We've perceived the sound, understood the meaning directly, decided how to respond culturally. Now we actually produce the language automatically.
This is it, the moment of output. Your brain has to assemble the English words, the grammar, the structure directly without using your native language as a mental blueprint first.
This is where that automatic fluency really shows up.
Absolutely, because the sentence structure itself becomes automatic, not something you're consciously constructing rule by rule.
Why does this specific step kill translation? Is it just about avoiding your native language's sentence structure?
It's more fundamental than that.
Yeah.
It's about embracing patterns over rules. You start using English sentence patterns instinctively through observation and mimicry. Think of it like grammar muscle memory. You're not thinking about the rule for the third conditional. You just use the pattern you've heard hundreds of times.
And that makes the output sound natural, right? Not like something built from a kit.
Precisely. You learn those natural word combinations. Phrasal verbs, idioms, collocations, how words naturally stick together in English. We learn language in chunks, not just isolated words. Direct formulation lets you use those advanced, natural-sounding styles that often just, well, they fall apart if you try to translate them piece by piece.
So how do we train our brains for this automatic, natural output? What's the practice regime?
You need to consciously work on structures that might be weak or maybe don't even exist in your native language. Practice complex English structures.
Like what?
Embedded clauses, conditionals, maybe sentences with inverted word order. Practice them until they feel like familiar patterns, not mental gymnastics.
And focus on those word groupings, the chunks.
Definitely. Dive deep into phrase study. Look at how native speakers naturally combine phrasal verbs, prepositions, idioms. Practice saying those complete chunks smoothly so they roll off the tongue naturally.
Flexibility matters too, right? Different situations.
Huge. Practice style switching. Try consciously moving between formal, informal, academic, even casual, slangy English, maybe within the same practice session or conversation. It builds mental agility.
Okay. And structure.
Master common English organizational patterns. You know how ideas are typically laid out. Problem-solution structures, cause and effect reasoning, or that classic three-part rule, state your idea, then back it up with 3 clear reasons or examples. It's a very common persuasion technique in English.
And finally, to really force the automation.
We bring back the pressure. Practice fast speaking under time pressure.
Like a time limit.
Exactly. Give yourself, say, 60 seconds to state your opinion on a complex topic and give 3 supporting reasons. Go. It removes the luxury of slow, careful construction and forces your brain to rely on those quick, pre-learned English patterns. Translation just gets left behind.
Wow, okay. That's a really comprehensive map. Perception, comprehension, decision-making, and language formulation. The full circuit designed to finally switch off that internal translator.
Yeah, and I think the big takeaway from all the sources is this. True fluency, that automatic thinking, doesn't come from just cramming more grammar rules. It comes from observing, mimicking, and really forcing your brain to operate only within those dedicated English pathways. You practice the patterns until they become your own internal code.
And what really strikes me is the patience required. You're literally rewiring parts of your brain's processing. A lot of that heavy lifting must happen, well, when you're not actively practicing, right? In the downtime.
Oh, absolutely. That silent processing is huge. Sometimes the biggest leaps forward happen when you least expect it, during that quiet immersion. It actually reminds me of this anecdote one of the sources mentioned about quiet time.
Uh-oh. Quiet time with kids usually means trouble.
Exactly. So this friend has a 2-year-old.
Yeah.
And things go quiet for a few minutes.
Yeah.
Dangerously quiet.
Always a bad sign.
Always. So the parent creeps into the room to see what masterpiece of destruction is underway. And the kid isn't talking, not making noise, just sitting silently at the computer, completely focused. Carefully, meticulously, covering the entire laptop keyboard and screen with body lotion.
Oh, the horror. The silent, focused horror.
Total untranslatable chaos.
Oh.
But it's kind of a perfect metaphor, isn't it? That quiet concentration leading to something completely unexpected. The learning brain is like that. It's always processing, making weird connections, rewiring itself, even when it's silent.
So the final thought is embrace the quiet. And maybe keep lotion away from your laptop.
Definitely keep the lotion away. But yes, embrace those quiet moments in your English journey. Trust that your brain is working, restructuring, even when you can't consciously feel it. That's often when the most powerful, spontaneous learning happens.